This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. The dog camera isn't going to work right now because I had to use the cable and the phone died that uses the camera over there. Oh, there's the sound right there. There it is. Well, thank you, Georgina Stoliker. Yeah, so the dog camera isn't going to work tonight. You'll just have to suffer through it. Yeah, I just said that, Terry. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. We've got a couple missing persons cases that are kind of old. We'll see how that goes. I look kind of like it's too bright or something. Let's see. Oh yeah. It's got the supposed to be more like that. Kind of. I don't know, it's a little too pink now, but whatever. Hey, the Velvet Army. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, so this is one of those nights where you're covering a case. By the way, I hope your Easter Sunday's gone well so far. Yeah, these are the kind of cases that really people don't give a damn about, other than people that actually give a damn. You know, it's like, it's either one of the really popular ones or drama or these types. And that's why, you know, it's like sometimes it's hard to get a big crowd when you're just covering a random. One of them's from like a long time ago, 1950 something. It's crazy. Oh, hey, thanks up there to the Velvet Army. I think I missed that one. Thank you. Yeah, the Masters was good. I was glad one of the live characters didn't win. They did get like second and third and fifth, though. But you know, John Rahm from Spain won it. That was good. Not the Brooks Koepka trader who switched over to the live tour. Yeah. You know what sucks is my stomach is all messed up. So after I took those antibiotics for my tooth that they worked on, my stomach is just like, and it sucks because I was talking to my dad and he goes, "Oh yeah, sometimes it destroys the good bacteria or whatever that everybody has in their body, and then your stomach doesn't work the way it was supposed to." I remember this happened when I did this 10 years ago. It took me like 8 years to get my stomach back to normal. So hopefully there's some other way to do that. But I'm gonna try some probiotics or whatever. Bet my stomach just went for no reason. You know, there's like same food, everything. Thanks, Jim Lawn, and happy Easter freaks from Jim Lawn, and then Scout and Duty. Cup of Joe. No, yogurt's what makes my stomach messed up. Every time I eat that stuff. I was just starting to be able to eat dairy stuff again. It was crazy. After all these years, I was like, wow, look at this. And now it's just crap. So, yeah, I might just have to start doing that. Maybe I'll even go to the doctor and see if give me something that actually... You know, you wonder about when you order these probiotics or go to the store and get them. Are there really anything in there? They just tell you that? Or, I mean, how do we even know? Yeah, but if you're not really good with dairy anyways, yogurt doesn't seem like that would work too good. It's kind of dumb. I mean, they got to figure something else out than just give you a full thing of antibiotics that ruin it. Because I think it's almost like worse to have a shitty stomach than possibly have an infection in your tooth. You know, they could. Then you could. I think it should wait till there is an infection, then give you antibiotics. Instead of like a preventative thing where you don't even know if you would have got it. Yeah, I've tried. Those are the things that really bug my stomach a lot. Like kimchi and shit like that. Oh man, I used to love that stuff, but after a few years back when I got the other antibiotic, I couldn't even eat that anymore or anything. Like. And then it just sort of feeling like, hey, my stomach's back to normal. And now it's just messed up. You know? Just sucks. God. Hope it doesn't take that many years back. Thanks, Melissa South. Get them from a high-end store with, yeah. I'm gonna try this one I ordered from Amazon. I looked it up first before. They're like gummies. I'm gonna see if those work. Hey, thanks, Liam. Isn't that a drink? Kombucha? Dairy-free yogurt with lime. Oh, maybe that would be good. Dairy-free yogurt.
Gray, Canada. Sorry that your stomach's playing up frown.
Yeah, I was just sitting here a minute ago, like for no reason. And, you know, it's just... No, I didn't see your comment, Daphne. I didn't see it. But yeah, I'm sure she can sing it somewhere. Not sure where she is at this point. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to put... maybe if I click on... I'll put, where is she? Daphne in there. Hey, thanks. And one of these days I'm almost going to have to stop doing the birthdays. There's so many people watching that you could have like 6 in a day.
It's okay, Gray. I don't mind singing.
Well, I don't want to ruin your voice, Mary Lou. For some reason I can't find... Jeez. I'm not actually in prison right now. Maybe later. I'm sure I'll find my way in there somehow. Hey, thanks, Robin, and Ibazal Z.
Chewbacca?
I'll do Chewbacca.
Oh, no, that is the one right there.
Thanks for covering
All right.
all cases.
So, Marilou, you got to
Hope
sing
you
happy
feel
birthday
better
for
soon.
Daphne.
Happy Easter.
Okay, Greg, we'll get right on that.
No, I'm serious. You got to sing it.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to Daphne. Happy birthday to Daphne. Happy birthday, dear Daphne. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Hey, thanks, John Boy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Jesus. What a bunch of wackos. Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. Happy birthday. Let's see. Oh, yeah, thanks, Robin. And I was trying to figure out what they were saying up there. I didn't even know that there was dairy-free yogurt. I mean, it sort of seems counterintuitive. I have to check that out. So your birthday's on Easter, all right. Wait, are you related to Jesus? All right, I'm gonna get going on these. All right, so gonna be they're reading again, everybody, reading again. So the first one is from 2002, and it's the case of Audrey Herron. I actually just saw somebody put the comment in underneath one of the videos that I made, so I thought, oh, let me go look, and you know, seemed pretty interesting. It's a missing person from, I think it's September 2002-ish, something like that. Might have been late August as well, but yeah, jeez. See what I'm saying? Like, if you have 500 people watching, there's likely that like 5 or 6 people have the birthdays on the same day. Well, where do you get the almond milk yogurt? Just at any store has it? Trader Joe's, huh? Or Whole Foods. Okay, I'll try something like that. Okay, here we go. Oh, see, but Adniram's saying everything else except now you guys are just saying it's on Whole Foods and those types of places. All right. 23 months for Georgina. Authorities continued an air and land search Sunday for a missing nurse who was last seen leaving the parking lot of the hospital where she worked. Audrey Herron, 31 years old, a part-time nurse at the Green Medical Arts Center. So let me get to that one. Yeah, now it's called something else. Columbia. It's right here. Yeah, so it says Medical Arts Pharmacy, but I think it's right. There it is. Green Meadows Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. The address, though, of the place is right there, but I think all of these buildings are just in that same address. But right here is the facility right there, and let's see. So she departed there. I think it was let's see. Part-time nurse at Green Medical Arts Center in Catskill, New York, had been missing since Thursday. Her husband, Jeff, notified police Friday after she failed to come home, said State Police Captain Louise Barberia. Herron, who was last seen wearing dark green scrubs and a blue turtleneck, got into her black 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee with New York license plate X233UV. Neither Herron nor her Jeep had been located. In their search, troopers used helicopters, thermal detection equipment, and even combed the woods and patrolled back roads. Every avenue we went down, every different concept and scenario we pursued has led to a dead end. Police also posted up missing person posters throughout Greene County. And this is what she looks like, by the way. Right here. It's kind of small, but you can see her. That's the vehicle there. And these are various pictures of her. And this is in a Daily Freeman back in 2002. It says the husband of a Freehold woman who has been missing since August 29th has refused to take a lie detector test, according to state police, who say they haven't ruled him out as a suspect. State police at Catskill said Jeffrey Herron, the husband of Audrey Mae Herron, refused to take the polygraph test on the advice of his lawyer. Audrey Herron was last seen leaving work at the Greene County Long-Term Healthcare Center in Jefferson Heights at about 11:15 p.m. She was driving a black 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee with New York license plate X233UV. Police said Audrey Herron was wearing dark green scrubs and a blue turtleneck. She is described by police as being a white female, 5 feet tall, weighing 105 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. Police said Wednesday that they have no new information in the case. Earlier this month, police used helicopters to search for Audrey Herron by retracing the routes the 31-year-old woman could have taken home the night she went missing. Police said the helicopters were used to search areas they could not previously reach due to foliage following her disappearance. Right, so they probably waited until like when she went missing, there were still leaves on the trees, and then in December, the leaves fell off the trees. I mean, they were bare, right? Like just like in the Delphi case, you know. And let's see, this is 2012. There really wasn't a lot of paper coverage that I could find back then, because missing persons a long time ago, I don't know, they just didn't cover them very often. Sometimes they didn't make it into the paper at all, but at least it was in there a little bit. And this is 2012. Audrey Mae Herron was last seen leaving her job in Catskill back in 2002. It was August 29th, 2002. A then 31-year-old mother of 3, Audrey Mae Herron, disappeared without a trace as the 20th anniversary of her disappearance passes. Police have... Oh, this is 20th? I thought it was... Oh, this is 2022. Okay, so this is an actual August 30th of this year. I marked it down wrong. So let me... Since I only read the first paragraph, let me redate this thing here. Should have been 22. Okay, let me just switch over so we don't get ahead. All right, 2018. There's this article. In August of 2002, Shirley Olmsted was driving her RV from Florida to New York with her 10-year-old granddaughter, Sonzia Court. The pair were on their way home from a long vacation in the Sunshine State. Hold on a second. This is saying 2002. How can they call her that? I mean, that's definitely Audrey Mae Herron. Shirley Olmsted was driving her RV from Florida to New York with her 10-year-old daughter. The pair were on their way home from a long vacation in the Sunshine State. Sonzia told Dateline that while she enjoyed the vacation, she was looking forward to seeing her mother, Audrey Mae Herron, after being away from her for over a month. Audrey, 31 at the time, had stayed at their Catskill, New York home with Sonzia's stepfather, Jeff, and Sonzia's 2 younger half-siblings. While I was gone, my mom and I would talk often, if not every day, then every other day, Sonzia told Dateline. She was always in contact with my grandmother, and I talked to her while we drove home. When Shirley and her granddaughter arrived home, they went straight to Shirley's house. Since Audrey was a full-time nurse working evenings at a nearby nursing home, it would be late when she got off work at 11 p.m. to pick up her daughter, Sonzia. I called Audrey, and she said she had a doctor's appointment the next morning, but she would pick Sonzia up after that. But early the next morning, around 6 a.m., Shirley got a call from Audrey's husband, Jeff. Jeff called and asked Audrey if Audrey was at my house. So Jeff called and asked the Sonzia person, hey, is Audrey at your house? It would not have been unusual for her to stay over with me, but normally she would call him and tell him and let him know, actually. So Shirley told him that. And my stomach's just going, it's just driving me crazy. I said she wasn't there, but I didn't think anything of it, so I dozed back off. So Jeff, the husband, calls her friend Sonzia, who had just been on a trip with Audrey's daughter, but she worked late, and then in the morning was going to come by and pick her up. And then when she didn't show up at home, Jeff, the husband, calls up Sonzia and says, hey, have you seen Audrey? And she said, no, she hasn't been here. And then and then she just went back to sleep. An hour later, Jeff called again. Audrey still hasn't come home from work, and he was concerned. Shirley says a family member who used to work in law enforcement got in touch with authorities and reported Audrey missing. New York State Police senior investigator Peter Kuzminski, who was one of the original investigators assigned to the case, told Dateline he went to Audrey's house that day. Let's see, New York State Police senior investigator Peter Kuzminski, who was one of the original investigators assigned to the case, told Dateline he went to Audrey's house that day. Her family said that she had not come home from work the previous night, and they have no idea where she could have gone. And that was her when she was getting married to Jeff, I think. Audrey's mother, Shirley, says she and Sonzia also went to Audrey's house. This is in NBC News. We were both very upset, and we went up there and they started searching for her, Shirley told Dateline. Senior investigator Kuzminski told Dateline authorities conducted extensive searches involving aviation and dive crews. We did basically a 9-mile radius foot search of every building, every road, every body of water that the car could have ended up in, he said, referring to the 1994 black Jeep Grand Cherokee Audrey drove to and from work. Audrey's mother, Shirley, told Dateline there has been no activity on her daughter's credit or debit cards since she disappeared. Senior investigator Kuzminski added that Audrey did have a cell phone, but when they attempted to ping it, there was no connection. In other words, it was off or destroyed, or the battery was dead. I mean, what if it was in, you know, in a watery area, so the vehicle could be in the water? Yeah, but you know, it's like at the beginning of the show, like everything was going, and as soon as I start reading, it just goes, you know, it's incredible. Yeah, I gotta go do something. Hold on, let me try to get my stomach fixed. I don't know if it's gonna... Ah, man. Just keeps going. Oh, thanks, Tosh. I keep feeling my stomach's going to start making a lot of noise every second. Let's see. We did basically a 9-mile radius foot search of every building, every road, every body of water that the car could have ended up in, he said, referring to the 1994 black Jeep Grand Cherokee Audrey drove to and from work. Every asset available to us is used. Thank you, Susie Clue. Audrey's mother, Shirley, told Dateline there has been no activity on her daughter's credit or debit cards since she disappeared. Senior investigator Kuzminski added that Audrey did have a cell phone, but when they attempted to ping it, there was no connection. In other words, it was off or destroyed, or the battery was dead. Investigators say there was only one security camera that captured Audrey's planned route home. We only have one grainy video from Cumberland Farms. Let's see where that is. Oh, cool. So my route is exactly Cumberland Farms, though. What's it doing up there? I wouldn't have had her going up that far. So I think she lived right there, but... I don't know. It was hard to get the exact locations, but... Cumberland Farms camera. God, my stomach is just... It's almost like when you take... that You know, the stuff you do before you get your colonoscopy? That's what it sounds like. It's like, oh. We only have one grainy video from Cumberland Farms in which it appears that Audrey's vehicle does leave her place of employment. Yeah, so that doesn't... Cumberland Farms isn't where I just put that pin. That's the last of any kind of technology evidence we had. We can't confirm it's the vehicle, but it appears to be because the quality of video was very poor and very grainy, and it does appear to leave the same time she would have ended work. My family was out there every day searching for her, Audrey's mother Shirley told Dateline. Time goes on and nothing comes up. They question everybody. They even questioned me 5 times just to see if they could get any information out. Sonzia said she immediately went to live with her father, David, about 30 minutes away. So is Jeff a stepdad, or... I did help hand out flyers, and there were a ton of candlelight vigils, Sonzia told Dateline. It was sad and overwhelming, but it makes you feel a little bit better when you see how many people were there and cared for her. Authorities told Dateline that their investigation has not found that Audrey was involved with any kind of dangerous activities. While they've had well over 1,000 leads on this case in the 16 years since Audrey disappeared, none of her belongings have ever been found. Senior investigator Kosminski added that if Audrey had gone missing today, tracking her might have been more of a possibility. Currently, obviously, technology is much, much better. There's more cameras, there's more ways to track people. Back then, there wasn't. Sonzia told Dateline she doesn't have a theory on what happened, but she doesn't think her mother left on her own. It hasn't been easy, and not every day is the same. The way I coped with it growing up is telling myself that my mom would want what is best for me. Even though this happened to us, she would want me to continue to be positive and do the best that I can. Audrey's mother, Shirley, says she doesn't think her daughter left on her own either. Well, there's a like a documentary, a short one on, I think it's like crime. I can't remember what the name of that thing is, but it's a 3-parter on it. And apparently they claim that he took the polygraph. His dad does anyway. But he never helped look for her at all and said, "Oh, it just caused so much problems." Or I'll tell you. Yeah, he said that it was just like it made the kids get too upset, so he just didn't help because it always brought up what happened, like she disappeared. Really? Nobody does that. That's stupid. Especially a guy, you know. They're going to be out looking for their wife like that. You're not going to be, well, I just, the kids, I gotta... Well, what are you saying, Gray? That are good? I'm just saying guys are more like they're going to go out there right away and just, unless they have something to do with it. Huh? I'm not sure what's Jeff saying? God, I should put the camera on my stomach. It's so loud. For years and years, I thought maybe someone just took her. Maybe she's out there, but I don't know. After all these years, I'm kind of thinking she isn't out there, she told Dateline. That's hard to deal with. I'm getting up there in age, and it would be absolutely help to know what had happened to her. There are a couple of persons of interest, I would say, but no direct link on the disappearance, senior investigator Kuzminski told Dateline. At this point, clearly, we suspect foul play. It's clearly a very frustrating case for us because there were no solid leads to follow. They've never found the Jeep either, you know. So those are the ones that make you wonder if she went into a body of water, because that would explain the cell phone, the car missing, and the person missing. Like Kylie Rodney, you know, a little bit like that. Except it's a little weird when the husband isn't helping, right? It helped me a lot because it helped keep my mind occupied and busy, Shirley said, but she added that the pain remains to this day. You lose people you love, but boy, when you lose a daughter, the pain never goes away. And as the kids got bigger, I talked to them about her. I talked about the exciting things she did. The kids were so young, and I wanted them to know everything about their mom. She was a great mom, Sonzia told Dateline. She loved to take me everywhere with her, which I loved. She would take me shopping to her friend's house. We would plan girls' dates, get our nails done, see a movie and get dinner. She would play video games with me. She was a great mom. Sonzia, now grown, has even followed in her mother's footsteps and is a nurse now. That's cool. I decided to go for nursing mostly based off my mom, Sonzia told Dateline. She brought me to work a couple of times, but mostly what I remember was her vigils. Some of the patients even came. They told us what a wonderful, caring nurse. So at her vigil, these people would come and say how great she was. It inspired me to want to do that too. Shirley told Dateline she knows Audrey would be so proud of Sonzia's choice to become a nurse, adding that the career was a perfect fit for Audrey's character. Okay, I'm going to go to these other articles in here. This is in a sort of an online newspaper called the porcupinesoup.com. After 19 years, the family of Audrey Mae Herron is still searching for answers. Herron, a then 31-year-old mother of three, went missing on August 29, 2002, on her way home from work. She and her black Jeep Grand Cherokee were never seen again. Herron's oldest daughter, Sonzia Court, was only 10 years old when her mother disappeared. Sonzia had returned from a trip to Florida with her grandparents, and her mother never arrived to pick her up. So that's interesting, though, that when Sonzia came back, why didn't they drop her off with Jeff, the husband? You know, so that's her stepdad. Was there some sort of issue at that point where they was a little nervous, so you had to wait for your mom to come pick her up? I mean, that's sort of it. I think that's interesting. Like, why didn't the grandparents just drop Sonzia off with Jeff? God, my stomach. Jesus. My grandmother pulled me into a back bedroom to sit down and talk to me. She told me Mom didn't come home from work. Nobody can reach her. Everybody's out looking for her. We're going to find her. It probably sounds strange to hear this, but I knew I was never going to see her again when my grandmother was telling me this, she said. I knew something very bad happened because my mom was so dependable. Herron's close friend, Marie Parker, remembers the disbelief she felt when she received the phone call. I was in Birminghamton building a Best Buy. At first, Parker believed Herron was picking up Sonzia at the airport or was at a mall since she loved to shop. When it hit me, I dropped the phone, Parker said. I looked at my foreman, Pete, and said, I have to go. So that was Marie Parker remembers in disbelief. She's a builder, her friend. At first, Parker believed Herron was picking up Sonzia at the airport or at a mall. When it hit me, I dropped the phone, Parker said. I looked at my foreman, Pete, and said I have to go. Please use all available resources to search for clues along the 12-mile stretch of highway between Herron's nursing job in Jefferson Heights and her home in Freehold. Let me see if I got the right place. Yeah, see, I have her living right here. I think this is right. And so Jeff's dad owns a golf course, and one of the addresses associated with their husband and her, Audrey, was this golf course right here. So I'm thinking that this golf course is the one that they're talking about, since they actually had the address listed as one of their addresses. So there's that, and then I think this is the property. One of these houses right here was one of the ones that they lived in at the time. And this is the route that you would take home. It's so simple. You just get on this highway here and just boom, take a left right there, and it takes you basically all the way home. It's only about 12-mile drive. I think, didn't they just say that? Yeah, 12.4 is what I have. Yeah, look at that. 12-mile stretch of highway between Herron's nursing job in Jefferson and her home. So good. I got all the right parts, it looks like. It was one of the most thorough missing persons investigations that I've ever seen, said retired state police senior investigator David Darling. We had other agencies, others look at it, the FBI, we had other members of the state police look at it to make sure we didn't miss anything. We took it to the profiling unit of Quantico, and they couldn't find anything they thought we should have done that we didn't. We would have done anything that anybody suggested. Darling thinks of the case often, he said. I think about it all the time because it was a case that wasn't solved. I pray to God it will be solved. While Darling has his own theory on what happened, he declined to elaborate. It doesn't matter what I think, it matters what I can prove, he said. Parker believes that Herron met her fate at the hands of someone she knew. Yeah. I think she may have even made it home from work, if you ask me. I mean, doesn't that make the most sense? Since there isn't really any waterways anywhere, that she actually made it home. But I don't know if they were able to... what did they say about the cell phones earlier? Did it not ping or anything in certain areas? I almost feel like I have to go back to which one was that? Was it the second one? This one? En routes. Police center helicopters. Maybe it was in this one. Added that Audrey did have a cell phone, but when they attempted to ping it, where there was no connection. In other words, it was off or destroyed, or the battery was dead, he explained. But how about, were you able to do the track where the phone had been? How about that information? I mean, that would be important because, I mean, it's 2002. They had that technology. They should be able to see where the phone went. Okay? But anyways, I'll make my normal nightly spiel since we've slowed down to an absolute trickle here. On this channel, every single night, see, I cover random cases, and they're not always popular ones, everything like that. And the freaks all support the channel that allows me to keep doing these shows every single night. And then, because of the generosity that you guys show, I donate over 50% of the net revenue to true crime related charities. And the only way to make that happen is from you guys, since there is no ad revenue on the live streaming. Okay, and that's really what I do here. So I rely on you guys. So when we have nights where it's just sort of like, you know, the Pac-Man death sound like that, it just doesn't work. You know, I mean, I spent a lot of time getting these things together, and it's the only way to make it happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Alright? Okay, awesome. You know, it gets sort of frustrating to have to bring that up all the time. I wish it would just be smooth shows, you know. Alright, it doesn't really get any easier, she said. The loss and the grief of it changes over time and as I get older. As a child, when I was 10 or 11, I missed my mom. And now, not that I don't miss the monthly influence. Hey, thanks, Tosh. I feel like I missed out on her friendship as well. She's not here to help plan my wedding and celebrate with me on all these exciting milestones. The motorcycle ride will be held in honor of Herron on August 27, 2022. You do see remains being found. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because if you look at the route, there isn't really any water, you know? I mean, there's something over here, but I mean, you never cross it. I guess right there, it's a possibility. But look at that water. It's not like, you know, you wouldn't lose a car in there. And they checked that out really thoroughly. Thank you, Tosh and Lori Akers. And Jessica Schubach. By the way, I'm debating on whether to shut our Discord down. It just sort of doesn't seem... there's nothing really, you know... It's strange. I don't know, it's not really... It's kind of a click generating... You know, like a little groupie, like you have these little cliques forming in there. It's not really what I was hoping. Hey, thank you, Jessica Schubach. Should nothing helpful either. Well, how do you know? Right, meow? It doesn't say that in the article.
Coming in late in cold case wave. Julep.
Yeah, you would think that they would know where the phone was before, but they were trying to locate her, and the phone was off or dead at that point. But what about prior? Did it ping off of any towers on the way home? In that documentary that I watched, there's somebody that followed her for 5 minutes of the 15-minute drive, and then they branched off. So then it's just she got lost in a 10-minute period. So I guess you can even wipe out this first part, right? Because in 5 minutes from here, you're past the water right there. You know, if we just break it up into segments, you know, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, so you'd probably be right around in this area right here. Maybe the friend peeled off. And then when you drive down here, there's absolutely nothing. You know, there's no way a car could get lost, a Jeep, in this area. Take a right here. I guess there's a pond there. A little tiny creek right there. But I mean, man, a car goes into that, it's going to have a hard time even making it anywhere. The water flows, let's see, it looks like it goes to the right in this one. So... wouldn't that be interesting if we could pull it off where we're looking in the water and there it is? Yeah, there's almost no water at that time of year. Just like that car in the pond. Yeah, it's just there's really hardly any place to get lost. It's not treacherous. There's nothing weird about it. Let me see if I can go to Street View here. I don't know if there is Street View. Strangely. Oh, I guess there's some right there, though. Hey, thanks, Donna D. Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of a rural area. It's not a place that you would... So doesn't it seem more logical that she just made it home? And then something happened to her then? By the way, oh, hey, thank you, Donna D.
Thank you, Gray.
Remember the case last night that we were talking about? Let me go back to that really fast. The I think the Karen. I think it was the Karen Coughlin one, right? So I was thinking, somebody made a comment under my video, and I was thinking, you know, my option would be that she went to the house. You guys remember it from last night. That she went to the house. She got dropped off by the friends, and then maybe the father answered the door and says, "Hey, she's already asleep. I'll give you a ride home." But I mean, another theory, just as equally, I guess, valid, would be that those kids that she was with literally never, you know, they went way out somewhere together. Remember, because she wanted to stay at the roller skating rink, right? I'm sorry to jump, but I wanted to remember this. But you know, she wanted to stay at the roller skating rink. So how do we know that they didn't all just take off together, go out there somewhere, and then something really bad happened, and then later they claimed, I don't know, we just dropped her off at the friend's house, right? So, but it'd be hard for, the reason that one is less likely but still likely is because for 3 people to bite their tongue for 40-something years is pretty difficult. Somebody might have said something at some point. Hey, thank you, Donald. Oh, look at Lisa Holland and Robin Berardo. Thank you. Now, Lisa Holland's going to get the avocado dance. Being alone on Easter, the best part besides the dogs is having Gray. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm glad that we're here to be somebody. Anyways, here, my wife just came home. Hold on a second. Wait, we gotta do this one. I'm gonna start doing more.
Besides the dogs I'm watching,
yeah.
Just having Gray and the family of freaks here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Just hang out with the freaks. Let's see. I was gonna say, oh yeah, I'm not saying it's more likely what I just said in that previous story, but that's actually definitely something that is possible. But it'd be very hard for 3 different kids to not be guilty enough at some point in their life to have just said, you know what we did, we accidentally hit her. You know, make up something, whatever it is, to tell the reality of it. So that's why that seems less likely. But also, I'm going to start doing more of these missing persons cases for sure, because I think if I was just looking through the Charlie Project, and they've got a really cool way they organize it all, and I can just go through that, look up the newspaper articles, try to find the, you know, any newer stories on it and stuff like that, and put them out there, because some of these are crazy. Some of them are just really old. I mean, I have one for tomorrow from 1930. I was actually looking up to see if there's anybody around 1930, 31, 32 that are reported missing that are from the same area that we're looking for in Addison County, Doe. Yeah. Yeah, but remember, they said that the girl was dropped off. She was still in the car when she was dropped off, Rebecca. So you must have missed that part. All right, hold on a second.
enjoy the lesser known and covered missing persons and cold cases. Learning cases with you and the freaks is the best.
Sorry about that. I did. Hey, wow. Yeah, these are some of these ones we've been doing recently are so interesting. It's crazy. Thank you, Tosh. Appreciate it. Don't you think? Oh, when's the avocado coming? Here it comes. Has it played yet? The avocado? Did I miss it? I know there's another one up there. Lisa Holland's avocado. And traveling Teresa. Oh, you don't. There's no late fees here. But thank you for pretending there was one, and then. Oh, okay, I missed it. Okay. All right, so this case is pretty weird. I mean, she gets off of work at 11:15, drives. One of her friends, if you watch the documentary on, what's that one, the one that Chris Hansen on YouTube, you know, it was like crime something. She followed her for 5 minutes. That means it puts her over in this area.
Just getting in.
And then she just disappears off the face of the earth. Her Jeep, a big-ass Jeep, and her disappeared forever. I mean, unbelievable. And I started to read. This one's from 2022 August, so this is only, you know, 8 months ago. Audrey Mae Herron was last seen leaving her job in Catskill back in 2002. It was August 20. Well, no, but she was going to wait to pick her child up the next day, Zozo, so it doesn't really matter where the airport was. It was August 29th, 2002, and then 31-year-old mother of three, Audrey Mae Herron, disappeared without a trace as the 20th anniversary of her disappearance passes. Police haven't stopped searching for her and the car she was driving when she disappeared. Herron was last seen in Catskill around 11 p.m. on August 29, 2002, as she finished her shift at the former Greene County Long-Term Health Care Center. She was driving a black 1996 Jeep Cherokee westbound on Route 23. Let's make sure we put the roads. Yep, there it is, 23. And all I did was put in where she works and where she lives, and that's the route that they put in there. She's driving a black 1996 Jeep Cherokee westbound on Route 23 in Catskill when she vanished. Police have followed many tips as the whereabouts of Herron, including one tip from 6 years ago. That tip led authorities to Cotterskill Road. Nice face, Zozo, nice face. Where police excavated some ground. So it says the tip led authorities to Cotterskill Road. Let's see where that is. In Catskill, where police excavated some ground and drained a pond in hopes of finding something that might lead to finding her or the Jeep. Unfortunately, that search came up empty. So they got a tip. Let's see where that is. Ew, no, that wasn't what I was trying to do. That was Traveling Teresa that I just posted. I thought I cut and copied. Let me hit that again. Copy. Now, right over here. So it's this road? Why would she be on that one? And where's the pond on this road? Does it keep going over here even? No. Yeah, that's the road right here. But so it starts right there, and then it goes around, and it goes over here, and up and around. Maybe that pond over here. Let's just say somewhere in here. Tip on Cottersfield Road. Hey, wow! Thanks so much, Cali Gal 3. Appreciate it. Just had one of those surges in my stomach again. Send me an email on that one, Camaro Lover 73. Send me an email.
Thanks for covering cold/old cases in
Yeah.
the fantastic way you do.
Yeah, where was that? I can't find the name again. I just said the name, but send me an email. Oh, there it was. It was Camaro Lover 73. Just send me an email with the same information on it. I don't need links or anything like that. Just tell me the name, the year, and that kind of thing. Unless you're not interested, then that won't happen. A lot of times people go, great, and they post all over the chat stuff, and I tell them to email it to me, and they never do. So you kind of wonder what they were all about when they said that originally. Oh, you heard my stomach that time? Maybe I'll put the mic on my stomach so you can hear it going. Ooh. Alright, so they looked there, they drained the pond, they didn't find anything. According to News 10, a tip came back in May of 2022 that led the New York State Police to 3 bodies of water in Greene County, including Catskill Creek. Divers searched the bodies of water for hours, but that search came up empty. So what are these tips coming from? Psychics? Catskill Creek is right here. Okay, well, that's the one that goes... She would have had to cross it at this point right here. Yeah, there's my stomach again. Thanks, Maxine Van Dyke. Okay. This is not the right place there. Herron's oldest daughter, Sonzia Court, who was 10 years old when her mom went missing, told News 10, "I try to not give up hope that we will find answers one day." She has a new investigator on her case that really is looking into things, so that keeps us hoping that maybe something will come about. State Police did say the case remains open and is still active, with New York State Police Trooper Stephen Neville telling News 10 investigators continue to investigate any new leads and have conducted interviews of people involved in the case.
The family of Audrey Mae Herron and other families gathered today at Red Rooster to honor their missing loved ones. 20 years later, and Audrey Mae's disappearance is as current as it was in 2002.
People don't know. We're still out there searching for her. Someone probably knows something.
As Audrey Mae finished her shift at former Greene County Long-Term Health Care Center in Catskill, she was last seen leaving around 11 p.m. Traveling westbound on Route 23 in Catskill is where Audrey, along with her 1996 Jeep Cherokee, disappeared on August 29, 2002. Her daughter, Sansia Court, hosted Riding for Audrey, a motorcycle event in remembrance of her mother's disappearance 20 years ago.
It's about getting her face out there, her case, people talking about it again, because it is a cold case, you know, it's not in the news every day, and then also to raise money for the Center for Hope.
And like Audrey's family, so many others are searching for their loved ones with questions. That's where Mary Lyle's Center for Hope comes in. Since the disappearance of her daughter, Suzanne Lyle, Mary has dedicated 20...
No, we should check that one out. I'll check that out later. Alright. And on the August 2022, there's more... About 6 years ago, investigators followed a lead that this one looks exactly the same, even though it's a different article. And then we have one more here. Family marks 20 years since Audrey Mae Herron disappeared.
It's 20 years since Audrey Mae Herron disappeared in Greene County.
And today I sat down with her oldest daughter to reflect on the past 20 years and the moment she knew something was wrong. The emotional interview only on 13.
I just remember having that feeling that she was gone.
At 10 years old, you had that feeling.
20 years ago, Sansia Court was just returning from a month away with her grandmother. They were in Florida. Sansia remembers talking to her mom, Audrey Mae, while they were driving back.
The only thing I remember of that conversation is she was like, I love you. You're never going away for a month again. I remember her saying that.
They returned home to Greene County on August 29th, 2002. Sansia's
let's
mom was
focus in on the
supposed to pick
case,
her up
you
the
know.
next day, but she never made it. She remembers the moment her grandmother pulled her aside.
I was like on her laptop or something, and I remember she was like, can you come in the back room? I want to talk to you. And I instantly knew that something was wrong.
You still remember that feeling?
Yeah. I don't know why, but I knew in that moment that I was not ever going to see her again. Not like alive. So
it just hit you.
Yeah. I just knew that there was no way that she was going to come back okay.
Audrey Mae Herron was last seen leaving her job as a nurse at Columbia Green Long-Term Health Care in Catskill. She left in her black Jeep Grand Cherokee.
And this is News Channel 13.
At night and vanished. She was 31 years old. Days, weeks, years, and now 2 decades have gone by. No sign of Audrey or her Jeep.
It's like a Maura Murray type story,
No,
just
that's
disappeared.
like, that's your daily thought. I mean,
But isn't it weird, like, how come, you know, like a case like this, it is in the news and stuff like that, but most of us probably haven't heard of it. So you wonder, how come a case like this nobody's heard of?
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't wake up and I'm like, how? How is there just nothing? How do we not know where her Jeep is? Like a huge Jeep. Like, how don't you know where that is? And there's nobody that knows anything. No one has come forward.
And the cell,
there's
cell tower coverage back in 2002 might not have been very good as well in those areas, right? I mean, it's kind of a rural area. 2002. I mean, that's just when cell phones were kind of just beginning to pick up.
No way to understand it.
Sansia is now getting married next weekend. She has a seat at her wedding
Hey,
reserved.
Gray, I had a cell phone in 1999. Well, I know, but you know, around that time, right?
Her mom.
I'm just being thankful that I did have 10 years of my life with her. So, and just being thankful for that.
Family friends will gather tomorrow to mark 20 years since Audrey Mae Herron disappeared. There's a motorcycle ride tomorrow morning. It kicks off at Brennan's in Earlton at 10:30, and then there's a benefit at the Red Rooster in Cairo. The money raised will go to the Center for Hope, which provides support for families of missing loved ones. And
all right, and we've got now this is the Charlie Project. Let's just see what they wrote in there. Herron was last seen at 11 p.m. on August 29, 2002 in Catskill, New York. She was driving her car, a black 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee with New York license plates numbered X233UV. The vehicle had no fog lamps and minor damage to the front passenger side bumper. A photograph of a car similar to Herron's is posted with this case summary. She was driving westbound on State Route 23 in Jefferson Heights area of Catskill, New York, having just left her job after finishing her shift. She was employed part-time as a nurse at the Columbia Green Long-Term Health Care Facility. That's what it's called now. At the time of her disappearance, Herron has never been heard from again. The drive from the nursing facility to Herron's home in Freehold, New York, is about 12 to 15 miles. It's 12.4. On the night of August 29th to the 30th, there was fog and rain in the area. Oh, there you go. There's that fog again. And she may have taken a shortcut to avoid it. Really? You take a shortcut? I mean, what do you mean shortcut? There's just the way on the map is the straightest way. Herron was supposed to arrive home at 11:30 p.m., but did not. Her husband reported her missing at 6 a.m. the next morning. She left behind 3 children, whom she was reportedly dedicated to, and is considered missing under suspicious circumstances. See, that's interesting that they say that, but what would be the shortcut here? I mean, this is a freaking highway from right here, goes straight to her house almost. I mean, there really isn't a shortcut here. So when you say shortcut to avoid the fog, what does that even mean, really? I mean, fog is fog, right? And it's not like you can go, oh, look over there, there's this shortcut I can take to go around the fog. So Herron was supposed to arrive home at 11:30 but did not. Her husband reported her missing at 6 a.m. the next day. She left behind 3 children whom she was reportedly dedicated to. So that makes it, it's interesting that they say suspicious circumstances. The day of her disappearance, she had just received a substantial pay raise, that's in the documentary, and she had a doctor's appointment the next day, which she never showed up for. I wonder what the doctor's appointment was for. You know, maybe she got pregnant. She was pregnant again, or who knows? She has not used her cellular phone or credit card since she disappeared. And then police investigating Herron's disappearance say her husband has been uncooperative in the investigation. Yeah, they say that in the documentary too. So if you just type in her name, you can find it on YouTube. He has not been named a suspect in Herron's disappearance, and neither has anyone else, but her case is being investigated as a homicide. It is unknown what happened to Herron. Her vehicle disappeared with her and was never found. Some reports state that Herron was last seen in Cairo, New York. That's pretty crazy. Well, that's it for that one. Isn't that bizarre? That's just one of those ones, like there really just isn't really much in there. Yeah, I think and if you watch the documentary, his dad comes on there, and he's the one that had the money. You know, one thing you might want to think about is, like, he's the one that had the money, and they were married, but what if if there was some element where possibly she got a raise, she was talking about getting divorced. I don't know if she was getting to get divorced, but some element where somebody else doesn't want her to have the whole property, which includes that golf course and everything. like, you have this whole golf course here, they live here, and then she'd be entitled through marriage to a portion of whatever the husband has, and the husband's not being helpful. She just got a raise. That sounds like good news. But we don't know what was going on in their private life, right? What do you guys think about it? I think so. Get up in the morning, hit the button. Try to make sure that the window's in the right place. What motive? We don't know what the motive is. I mean, there's property, but it doesn't... We don't know if they were even having problems. You know? He just... I would say the suspicious element is that they haven't found... Well, there's a couple of them. They haven't found a Jeep and her, and there really isn't any place for it to get lost on that drive home. And then him not taking the polygraph test, which isn't incredibly unusual, but also not really helping at all. He didn't help in any of the searches or anything. I know it sucks, Danielle. Thank you.
I'm mad the Daybell trial won't be televised.
Yep. I think it's starting soon, too. We'll just have to rely on Nate Eaton's updates. And maybe I'll head down, try to get over there. I'll do 2 stops, go by the Idaho 4 case, and then jaunt down over to the Lori and Chad Daybell. Who knows? Maybe I'll find some time. No, I didn't eat broccoli or cauliflower or any of that stuff. I just explained it to you. I took antibiotics the other day and it just messed up my whole stomach chemistry. I had to take it for a tooth that they are trying to save. You know, it had like maybe, they thought maybe it had a crack in it. There's really nothing wrong with it, just kind of. Welcome, Tammy Kerwood. That would be kind of fun. No, well, I saw the pond on the property, but don't you think they would have checked that, Peter? Jesus. Come on, Peter. They didn't check this pond on the property. Let's see, maybe it's right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at it. It's a Jeep. It's a Jeep. Look at that. It's a Jeep. Look at it. It's a Jeep. Look. This is what straight drop used to do. Look. It's a Jeep. Look at everybody. Look at that thing. Oh, wait. No, it's an actual piece of land. Never mind. There it is right there. Look. Look. Yeah, did you ever get it fixed, Revengeance? Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I even saw it there, Peter, but I didn't even suggest it because I was thinking there's no way in hell they didn't check the pond on her own property. Okay, now if they didn't do that, they're the most... I mean, wouldn't it be interesting if they weren't able to check it because they weren't able to get probable cause to do a search warrant that she even made it home because there's no information showing she made it home, and he wouldn't allow it, and that's him not cooperating. That would be an absolutely ridiculous red flag right there, but, you know, I would just... Really, I think the odds of them not checking this pond are pretty low. Let's see if we can go back in time, though, to find something. We can find some pixels we can call a car. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, look at... Oh, can you see that? Right there, everybody. It's an automobile. It's right there. This is 1990. Well, actually, it couldn't be because this is 1995. All right, 2006. 2009. Ooh, 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 ooh. What is that dot up there? This is 2011. Squint your eyes. You can see it, man. You can find something. Okay, well, keep in mind a car is that big. So it should kind of be... It's almost the same size as that right there. Oh my god, look at it. It's got a square edge. That can't be natural. That has to be a car. Maybe a whole fleet of vehicles in here. There's one there, there, and there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. OMG. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the vehicle could go in the water, but the problem is we've already gone through it, Peter. You must have shown up late. There really isn't anywhere where the car had a chance other than... Because she was followed for 5 minutes. So they even crossed this bridge here. So there's really nowhere to get lost or lose an entire vehicle and a human being on this drive right here. Okay, now if somebody took her and intentionally put her in a pond like this one, right here, something like that. I mean, how would that work? Let's see. If you were driving down here, is there a way that you could accidentally... let's see. You're driving, you're not paying attention, you go zipping down the bank here, but how do you end up in the pond way over there? Yeah, there's no way to do it. Okay, yeah. So if you've been here, you'd see that. Then there's this right here, but this is such a shallow creek. Like, it's an actual creek. It's not a river or anything. Right? So when you scroll through it, I mean, a car would be easy to find at any point in this water here. And the water flows to the right here. So if it just happened to be high that day, might have gone somewhere, but you know, it's something that it gets so low. I mean, there's certain times a year where there's almost not. Look at that, almost no water in it. There's even, I thought we saw one before where it was just basically dry. Must be global warming. Yeah, right there. See, there's hardly any water in there. And then after that, you just keep driving and take a right on this road, take a left right there, and you go over this kind of a ravine here. It's not water, but is it ever water? That looks kind of... And you just go home. You know, you just drive up here. There's still nothing, 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 nothing. Oh my god, there it is! Look at that! It's sitting right in the water, you guys! We found it! Unbelievable. The funny thing is that does look like a vehicle in the water. Oh shit. Okay, it's not there in 2015, not there in 2013, not there in 2000. Maybe they moved the car, Gray. They put it in that pond. And no. Probably a dock or something in there. Yeah, well, that's what. Well, that's what's in the documentary. They say, oh, maybe somebody, they either destroyed the vehicle somewhere, or, I mean, I think it's most likely that she made it home, then something was done to her before she was able to do much. Like the second she got home, and then the car was driven away immediately. And I don't know how you would get home from wherever this was. It almost seems like it would be two people involved, perhaps, you know, husband and dad. and a husband and the father of the husband, because he'd have to have one driving it somewhere far away and then the other one get in and dump the car in a river with her in it, and you get a ride back home, and then you're okay with police searching your home because you know at that point nobody did anything. No, I don't think it'll be somewhere. How could it be somewhere close in water when it was 20 years ago and they've looked in all these ponds here? I think it would have been far away. So somebody else and the husband would have driven a long ways away, dumped the vehicle in a deeper piece of water where it isn't going to show if the water levels drop, and then got a ride back. Because anywhere around here it'd be easy to find. They would have checked all these ponds around here. I mean, don't you guys think through stuff like that? You know, or is it just sort of like, yeah, just something, you know, it's not like the case that I forgot her name already, the Kylie Rodney, that was a freaking lake, okay? They checked all these other places, and there it was in the lake because they didn't have the right equipment. These are all really shallow places that are, and tiny, were easy to find. Thanks, Adnaran. And Cheryl Bullock. Yeah, but the route is the only place she'd be going. You see what I'm saying? I guess what you could say is it was foggy and she got lost. But, I mean, how do you get lost on a freeway? You're basically on a highway the entire way home here. And then just right here, you take a right. So it's not like you're driving in some unknown place that you haven't done 1,000 times. You can almost do it on autopilot. Well, I mean, he could have done it 2 miles away, right? It could have been 2 miles away. It doesn't have to be... what's close to you? He could have been 8 miles away, right? And maybe he even parked his car 8 miles away and then walked home. So all he had to do was walk one time 8 miles by driving his car, let's say 8 miles away at, let's say 9 o'clock at night. Then he walks home, takes him an hour or so. Then she gets home, does something, drives her car, puts her near where his car is, gets back in his car, drives home. Turns off his phone, everything like that. That way he can be kind of far away. I mean, if we do a thing here with the circle, let's see, we go about right here. We have a miles. See, that's 1 mile. 2. I mean, you start getting like, you know, let's just say 5 even. 5 miles, that's easy. You can do that in an hour. Walking 5 miles an hour is not fast. I can just tell you that. Yeah, it's not a casual walk, but it's you moving your feet and continuing to move. So maybe somewhere in all of these vast number of ponds and lakes inside of here. But how about this? Does anybody think it's an... Let me do this poll here. Let me do this one. Hold on. Okay, let's start with this. I guess that's the main point. I think it's likely her car is in the water somewhere. And that's why her phone quit pinging, just like Kylie Rodney. She's underwater. Her car's underwater. It's exactly the same factual points pointing to that. Except there's other elements here that are nefarious, like the husband not helping to search whatsoever, immediately refusing to take a polygraph test. I don't know if he took one later. So people are saying it's an accident. 20% of the people say it's an accident. Wow, I wonder how they come up with that. Even the police said it's not. There's all kinds of lakes, Zozo. There's millions of them. Yeah, this one's 10 miles outside. You just said it had to be really close. Don't you remember? You told me. I'll put it in there. I'll add it to it. Let's add the lake in there. Now we're at my original 10.5 miles. There we go. And, you know, you could easily get in your car, drive down 32 here, and put her in a reservoir over here. Yeah, the vehicle. Easy. You know? But I'm just trying to stick with what you were saying. That's in the range I was saying, but I was trying to, you know, it's 8 to 10 miles out there. You were saying it had to be really close so we could walk. Has been struggling today with tummy, well, okay, well, I'm a human, so. Hey, Freak's finally back after getting new card and set up after hack. Oh, well, sorry you got hacked. I mean, that's the biggest piece of water around, but, you know, it's 10 miles from the house. Kilometers is much, it's like probably 16. 10 miles is how many kilometers? 16.09. Sorry, I was off a little bit there, you guys. Next time I'll remember. It's 16.09, not 16. Let's see. Anybody, any other thoughts on this one? Yeah. Now I'd want to know why people think it's an accident to pick that, when there's really almost nowhere to do that. It wasn't like she was out of place. She already crossed this bridge here. And then there's really nowhere to go where you could lose an entire vehicle with no signs of it at all. I would like to know if they ever tried to figure if her phone's pinged anywhere. Let me do cell towers in Catskill, New York. I used to have this thing as a map. I think this might be, there you go. Let me try that again. Yeah. Oh man, that's not where I was looking. Sorry I haven't been here the last few days. My daughter was visiting. Hey, cool. Thank you, not your average chick.
Sorry I haven't been here the last few days.
Yeah, I might have to try that Pepto-Bismol. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go to the store after I get done here. Let me see. So that was Catskill. Okay, Catskill Creek area. Cell Tower, Catskill Creek, New York. Map. Oh, they have the fire towers there too. Wouldn't that be crazy if that had a video of that? Except it was 2002. I'm just looking for something here. I just want to see. I'm just looking at this thing over here to see. How do I find cell tower map? Okay, so this is settings. Search. Freehold, New York. Okay. Yeah, so it's supposed to be showing towers, but don't see any there. There's that Cairo, New York. Oh, is that a tower right there? I don't know how they list it on there, but anyways, I just don't think there's going to be a ton of towers, especially back in 2002, that would have tracked your car all the way home. So they tried to ping it after the fact, but it was dead. So it does sound like it's in the water somewhere. And there's tons and tons of waterways inside of this area that, maybe some of these are bigger places like this one that a car could have been dumped in. We don't know. I mean, there's Alcove Reservoir there, this thing here. I mean, there's even a bridge. Probably could have pulled up, and this one's easily accessible here. So you could, yeah, I mean, look at this. Could have driven down, probably gone down off this road and just, if you wanted to, just push the car into the water right there. I mean, right? I mean, how simple would that have been? Just a random thought. I have no idea where the car is or anything like that. Alright, I'm going to move on to a new story now. Hey, thank you, K-Me. You guys ready for a new one? So that's an interesting one there, but go check out the documentary on... Here, let me put her name in really quick, and then I'll get it for you.
Wave time.
Yeah, it's True Crime Daily. There you go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in the description of the video, tonight's show, right? I'll put it at the very top of the sources. That way you have to find one, and there's one, and then find two, and then three. So hold on. Alright, it's the very first one. It's a YouTube video. That's part 1, and then you have to go find part 2 and 3. They don't just pop up, but if you put the same name in the search, you'll see 2 and 3. the same title. Makes sense? And by the way, if you guys could please hit that like button for me, that'd be great. That'd be absolutely fantastical. Alright, the next one we're going to do is a really old one. Not as old as one for tomorrow, but it's an old one nevertheless. I think it might be interesting. The one for tomorrow is crazy. I mean, that's why I'm like, wow, these old missing persons cases are quite incredible, really, some of them. Yeah, I don't feel like the diarrhea part, my stomach's just going like that. It's like it's not handling digestion well now because it's missing all the stuff it was using. Huh? Yeah, I used to have a Jeep Cherokee Laredo. But the Jeep they're talking about is just kind of the standard, you know, not a, I mean, it's another Jeep, but it's the later ones after that. I had when it was red, had the rack on. It's kind of the square-shaped ones. What were they called? Jeep Cherokee something or other. I like that look, the square ones. Yeah. Ginger. Yeah, everything. Yeah, hold on. Maybe I'll see if just a second. think we might have some ginger around. We'll try it later. I'm gonna go to the store after this next story, though. So, okay, this is there's two kids that are missing here: Marisha Faye Campbell Jr. and AJ Campbell, or AJ Campbell Jr. and Marisha Faye Campbell. So they're brother and sister, AJ and Marisha. Okay. So this is back in 1958, September 8th is the article here, but it says deputies and police carried on a grim search Sunday night as they looked for two small children they feared had been murdered by their father. The body of AJ Campbell of Fort Worth was found in an automobile. No, excuse me. AJ is he's the father. That's why there's a junior missing, right? The body of AJ Campbell the father of Fort Worth, was found in an automobile in Austin Sunday after Campbell called a Fort Worth pastor and said he had killed his son and daughter. Campbell told Reverend James Harris his children were at rest and peace with the world and that he had buried them. Harris traced the call to Austin and notified police, who discovered Campbell's body in his car on a lane in the north part of the city. He had been shot in the head, apparently with a 16-gauge shotgun lying nearby. Mrs. Campbell, a Goliad, Texas schoolteacher, said her husband came to Goliad Saturday and picked up 11-month-old A.J. Campbell Jr. So look, that's what it says. Miss Campbell, a Goliad, Texas schoolteacher, said her husband came to Goliad Saturday, picked up 11-month-old A.J. Campbell Jr. and Marisha Faye Campbell, 3. He drove away with the children, but did not tell Miss Campbell where he was going. Police checked mud on Campbell's shoes in an effort to find out where he might have buried the children. I mean, these are crazy. So this is the daughter, and I mean, I have a really good picture right here. So these are the two kids right here. AJ and Marisha. Death too soon. Marisha Faye Campbell, 3.5, and her brother AJ Campbell Jr., 1 year old, are the objects of a widespread search near Austin, Texas. They are feared to be dead. The body of their father was found yesterday in an automobile. A verdict of suicide by shotgun was given as the cause of death, estranged from his wife. Campbell, is a telephone conversation with a Fort Worth minister, said he had killed the children. Darkness halted a grim search Monday night for 2 small children. Call roads of county officers, state highway patrolmen, and game wardens plan to start looking again early Tuesday morning for 3-year-old Marisha Faye Campbell and 11-month-old A.J. Campbell. There was little hope they would be found alive. The search was centered along a 2-mile stretch of US 183 just north of this historic old town, the home of the children and their 30-year-old mother, a schoolteacher. The children were last seen early Saturday when their father, 32-year-old A.J. Campbell, a Fort Worth bricklayer, picked them up for a brief visit. Campbell and his wife were separated after 10 years of marriage. See, here we go with that thing again. Early Sunday morning, Campbell blew his brains out with a 16... I mean, not laughing, but it's like they don't write like that anymore. Early Sunday morning, Campbell blew his brains out with a 16-gauge shotgun in the car. Oh, excuse me. Early Saturday morning, Campbell unalived himself with a 16-gauge shotgun in a car where he extracted particles of his brains elsewhere. Okay? Is that more PC? Does that help? A 16-gauge shotgun in a car park just north of Austin. He left a note on the dashboard of a car saying he had slain the children because he loved them too much. Maybe I was sick, the note said. Shortly before he pulled the trigger on the shotgun, Campbell telephoned his minister in Fort Worth to tell him he had killed the children and planned to take his own life. In neither the call to the minister nor the note did Campbell say where he buried the bodies. He was under a court order not to molest his wife or try to see the children. The Saturday visit, however, was by agreement. Oh. So this guy says a 21-year-old black laborer who worked with Campbell, William Randall Jr. of Waxahachie, led the hunt for the children to the Goliad vicinity. Campbell rented Randall's car and hired him to drive. So let's see. William Randall Jr. Led the hunt for the children to the Goliad vicinity. Campbell rented Randall's car and hired him to drive for the trip from Fort Worth to Goliad. Randall told officers when contacted he in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife in Waco and 2 empty 5-gallon lard cans between Waco and Goliad. Oh, Jesus. So, is that, I mean, don't use that for starting a fire or burning things. The lard and then a knife. I hope you didn't use that to kill them. Randall said that after picking up the children at their Goliad home Saturday morning, Campbell started out on US 183 towards Cairo. The black man said Campbell went about 2 miles and told him to get out and wait. Man, so this guy was with him. This is crazy. Let me try to figure out what's going on here. Yeah, they use words in there that we don't use anymore. I mean, for good reasons. I mean, these are... so, a 21-year-old black laborer who worked with Campbell, William Randall Jr., led the hunt for the children to the Goliad vicinity. Campbell rented Randall's car and hired him to drive for the trip from Fort Worth to Goliad. But which Campbell are you talking about? Randall told officers when contacted in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife. I'm kind of just confused. I'm trying to figure out. So this Campbell, the father, A.J. Campbell, and his wife were shortly before he pulled the trigger on the shotgun. Campbell telephoned his minister. In neither the call to the minister nor the note did Campbell say where he buried the bodies. He was under a court order not to molest his wife or try to see the children, but she agreed to let him. A 20-year-old black man, laborer who worked with this very same Campbell, William Randall Jr. is his name, of Waxahachie, led the hunt for the children to the Goliad vicinity. See, I don't really understand that part. Campbell rented Randall's car, so Campbell himself rented the 21-year-old's vehicle but hired him to drive for the trip from Fort Worth to Goliad. Randall told officers when he contacted in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife. So let's see. Randall told officers when contacted in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife in Waco. So let's map this crap out now. Waco, Texas. So he bought a pocket knife here. Pocket knife bought by Campbell. Hired him to drive him the trip from Fort Worth to Goliad. Randall told officers when contacted in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife in Waco and 2 empty 5-gallon lard cans. Oh, 5-gallon lard cans. Ooh. So those are just cans, but those are pretty big. I think those are big enough to put a... I mean, it sounds horrible, but it's big enough to put a 3-year-old child and an infant in. No doubt about that. And I wonder if he then like put cement in them or something. Man, that's crazy. So let's see. 2 5-gallon lard cans. Left the children in the... Okay. Alright. So Randall said that after picking up the children at their Goliath, so he was with Randall, so he paid Randall to. A second. So this is Goliath here. Randall told officers when contacted in Fort Worth Monday morning that Campbell had bought a pocket knife in Waco and 2 empty 5-gallon lard cans. Randall said that after picking up the children at their Goliad home Saturday morning, Campbell started out on US 183 towards Cairo. It's probably north, yeah. And it's probably... So he was on, this is one, see there's 183 right here. So he's on 183. Towards Cairo. And then he said that Campbell went about 2 miles and told him to get out and wait. That he had to return to Goliad to see a friend. Ah, Jesus. Ah, this is ridiculous. So he was driving with Randall, the black 21-year-old. Told him to get out of the car, but he had to go back really quick and see a friend. So it might be a little bit closer. I would actually probably say he was heading towards Cairo, but maybe somewhere around in here. And had him get out, and he was going to go back. So that's probably when he did something to the kids, because they were already in the car, right, at this time. Returned with... Okay, oh, wow. So then it says right after that, listen to this. He started out on US 23 towards Cairo. Then Randall went about, and let's see. The black man said they went about 2 miles and told him to get out and wait. He had to return to Goliad to see a friend. About 30 minutes later, the black man said Campbell returned without the children. Randall described Campbell as roughed up and nervous. Randall said Campbell told him he had gotten into a fight with his brother-in-law and had left the children in the in-laws' house for return to their mother. See, I think that's all bullshit crap. I actually think the kids are probably... he either disposed of them during that time or they're in the back of that car at this point. I don't know the rest of it, but it's probably more like over in this area where he had him get out. So it's going to be within a half mile of here, or 15 minutes, I mean. It's going to be within a 15-minute drive of Goliad, because he was only gone for a half hour. So you'd have to go somewhere, 15 minutes, might even be just 10 minutes, because you need some time to do something. That's the same size, right, Jeff? 5 gallons is always 5 gallons, right? About 30 minutes later, the young black man said Campbell returned without the children. Randall, see, I think he made himself look like he was roughed up, like, oh, something happened, something happened. In reality, he just made himself look like that, and he killed his kids, put them in the buckets, and maybe used the knife, too. Except, oh yeah, so he was all the way up north here, I think. Because he bought the knife and 5 gallons, I thought, in... Yeah, over here in Waco here. So I'm not really sure how that plays in. Maybe he lived up... Alright, let's see. Campbell told him he had gotten into a fight with his brother-in-law and had left the children in the in-laws' house for return to their mother. Randall was left in San Antonio Saturday afternoon when Campbell told him he wanted to visit a girlfriend and did not return to pick him up. So what does it say up here when they met? Hunt for the children. Goliath vicinity. Campbell rented Randall's car and hired him to drive for the trip from Fort Worth. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Alright, so it was on the way south from Fort Worth. He stops in Waco to get the knife, 5-gallon bucket. They pick up, see now it makes sense. Then they went to all the way down to Goliad here, picked up the 2 kids, then 2 miles outside of town, he said, hey, can you wait here? I gotta go visit somebody. Then he comes back without the kids this time. And then they drive all the way back up to Austin at some point, because that's where he's found. So Randall, he's a 21-year-old black man. Randall was left in San Antonio Saturday afternoon when Campbell told him he wanted to visit a girlfriend and did not return to pick him up as he promised. He reported his car stolen and caught a bus to Fort Worth where he was living. So where's San Antonio? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So the knife and everything was bought. They go down to here and he leaves him here and then he heads back to Austin later. Randall was left. Oops. Oh, okay, we're good. So that's not too far away from Goliad there. There's all these pins from other cases, though. Randall was flown to Austin in a state police plane. Oh, let's see. Randall was left in San Antonio. Did not return to pick him up as he promised. The black man reported his car stolen and caught a bus to Fort Worth. Randall was flown to Austin in a state police plane Monday afternoon and then rushed to Goliad by Sheriff Tio Lang and deputies. So let's see, where's Austin? That's just right there. Okay, well that's where he was found dead there. There he pointed out the spot where he had said Campbell had left him for about 30 minutes. The large force of officers then began searching the area in sticky weather. They concentrated on a creek bed and 2 small roads leading off the main highway. The terrain is mostly covered with thick brush. The search party included 2 other sheriffs in addition to Lang, A.C. Taylor of we don't need to know the names of the deputies, but that's pretty pretty crazy, right? Wow. So just sort of looking at it now that we have those pins in there, looks like he started off in Fort Worth where he worked with Randall, and then he rented Randall's car and had him drive him all the way down south to Goliad, but they stopped in Waco here and he bought a knife and 2 5-gallon buckets. Then he drove all the way down to Goliad here, picked up his 2 sons that he had arranged, or 2 children, as he that he arranged with his wife that he separated from. And then after that, he drives just a little bit outside of town, drops off, tells, hold on a second, tells Randall to get out of the car because he has to go back to Goliad to talk to a friend of his. And then about 30 minutes later, he shows back up to pick up Randall and tells him, and he looked kind of roughed up, and he said, "Oh, I got in a fight, and I left my kids with my brother-in-law," or whatever the hell it was. Then at that point, it sounds like they drove to San Antonio, where he told him to get out, told Randall to get out of the car, because he had to go see, he was going to go meet a girlfriend or something. He'd pick him up later, but he never did. And instead, he drove up over to Austin over here, got a shotgun, and shot himself in the head. I mean, how crazy is that? Jesus. I mean, that makes some of the stories we talk about mundane, you know. So it's somewhere around here. I mean, I guarantee, so we know then almost 100% that those kids' bodies are in, I would say 100% that they're inside of that circle right there. Because that's 15-mile radius. So he's right there. He got back in 30 minutes. Now, if he's off by a few minutes, you could extend that out, but that means they're right inside of that. You know, these cases are almost like the old school ones we used to do. And the older the case, the more information there is in the newspapers. Oh yeah, so these are some, this is a 2021 article. There were some pictures in it. Search for tot strike dead end. All clues leading nowhere. Weary men who have searched long and hard for A.J. Campbell's children feared Thursday they were looking down a dead-end path. All possible leads have been checked out. But still the searchers... I wonder if those cans are made out of metal. You know, then you could find them. I mean, a can usually is metal, you know. I mean, that's hence the word can, but still the searchers follow up every possible, no matter how slim, the hunt goes on around Goliad, the children's home, and in the Austin area. No one expects to find the children, 3-year-old Marisha, Faye, and 11-month-old AJ Jr. alive, but there is an urgency in the search for graves. For if nothing is found, it may never be known what really happened to the tots after their father, a Fort Worth bricklayer, picked them up at their Goliad home last Saturday. I mean, if this was a story today, this would be the #1 case covered by every single YouTuber in history. What are you talking about, Revengeance? Nobody said it was 33.2 minutes. Sometime Sunday morning, Campbell killed himself just outside the North City limits here, leaving a note to his estranged wife saying he had slain and buried the children, but he didn't say where or how the deed was done. I mean, how did he have time to dig or anything? I mean, it's not like it's possible he drove down there on another trip, but he had to borrow somebody else's car this time to pick up the kids, even though it was arranged. It could be near Goliad or in Austin or anywhere in between. Let's see. Sometime Sunday morning, Campbell killed himself just outside the North City limits here, leaving a note to his estranged wife saying he had slain and buried the children. But he didn't say where or how the deed was done or even hint at the location of the graves. It could be near Goliad or in Austin. No, it can't. How could it be in Austin? That doesn't make any sense. Unless he had the bodies in the back of that vehicle the whole time. That's a reality that is possible. That inside the lard cans, that he had the children in the back of the vehicle, and what's his name? Randall, he never looked back there. That's if the bodies were in the back of the vehicle. But why did he take off? So he went somewhere, killed them, put them in the buckets, then put them in the car. And then after he left them in San Antonio, I guess at that point is where he could have done something with them if they were in the back of the car, in the in the trunk or something. I know, I just said that, Traveling Teresa. Yep. Are you guys like, is it like a minute delay here? I gotta fix this delay. Every show, I forget to put it on the delay mode, where there isn't any latency. We don't know exactly when, but he left for 30 minutes, and they were either in the trunk or he did bury them or dispose of their bodies somewhere else. But it does seem like after he dropped them off in San Antonio, because it was after that he knew he would then get into his trunk. Yeah, see, this makes sense, because it's not his vehicle, right? So at some point he would have to give Randall back the vehicle, and in doing so he would have to have ensured that he removed the children from the car. So he either got rid of the kids, he picked the kids up, killed the kids, put them in the 5-gallon buckets, and disposed of them right after he dropped them off outside of Goliad the first time, or that was just the time that he needed to put the kids in the buckets and then put them in the trunk of his car. Then he picks up Randall, then they drive to San Antonio and he leaves them there, and then he heads up to Austin, and he could have put the bodies anywhere at that point, and then he kills himself in Austin, and maybe he had the graves already created somewhere near where he lived at the time, because 1958 the population was probably a hell of a lot less and it was more rural looking, I would think. What do you think of that? What are you talking about? Hey, Revenges, can we have one show where you're just really kind of focused in on what we're doing? You're always all over the place. Gray, you gutted me, man. Well, you gut me every show. You gut me every show. Yeah, he could have put the cans in a body of water if he had put cement in the cans. Those would have floated to the surface really easily. I'm covering a case, Lily. Jesus. Are there people still watching? The chat speed has just went to 0. Yeah, it's hilarious, Revengeance. You're always so funny every show. Yeah. And nearby an old, overgrown cemetery, 2 small, nameless graves were found. They appeared fresh, but this was explained by a woman who coincidentally had cleaned and reshaped them Saturday, the day the children are believed to have been killed. The woman, Mrs. Lenora Meanier of 207 Elliott, said they contained the bodies of her deceased brother's children. Wow, really? They died many years ago, she said. Thus, the search had returned, so they checked the cemetery with these 2 looking fresh dug graves. But they were somebody else's. Maybe she's lying. He paid her money to say it. Sheriff deputies were hoping for new leads today in the search for 2 babies believed killed by their father. The father, A.J. Campbell Sr., 32, a Fort Worth bricklayer, shot himself Sunday after telephoning a Fort Worth minister that his children were at peace. Thursday, the search centered briefly on 2 small unmarked graves in an old cemetery north of Austin, but it turned out they were old graves. By court order, Campbell had the right to be with his children on weekends. The children had been living with Campbell's estranged wife. She's still alive, by the way. I don't know if she's still alive today, but at this time, she was still alive. A giant search for 2 tots feared murdered and stuffed in lard cans was renewed Thursday when a diaper of the same type worn by one of the children was found. The search was for Marisha Faye Campbell, 3, and her 11-month-old brother, A.J. Campbell, Jr. The children disappeared September 7th, and officers feared that their father murdered them and stuffed them in lard cans shortly before he blew out his brains. Some 70 men, including the local National Guard unit, searched an area of several miles after the diaper was found near the Goliad Highway. Most of the searchers returned home Thursday night, and Highway Patrolman F.B. Byrne, Assisting Sheriff Ray Markowski, and other officers said it was pretty discouraging. Let's see. Byrne said the diaper was shown to be the tots' mother. It was shown to the tots' mother, Mrs. Jewel Burney Campbell of Goliad, and she identified it as being similar to the 4 diapers that her 32-year-old husband took when he called for the children for a Sunday visit. Byrne couldn't confirm a report that the diaper was bloodstained. Let's just say that we're having it analyzed. But he did say that some of the diapers that Campbell took with him were missing when the Fort Worth man was found dead in the automobile. Well, where'd they find the diaper? That might have been helpful. Mother clings to hopes. That's the mother right there. Hey, thanks, Linda Howell. How you feeling? Well, we hit one of those long lulls again. Whether it's just a mother's undying love for her children or a hunch she can't explain, Miss Jewel Campbell, 30, now believes her 2 babies may be found alive. Really? Wow, it's Pebs W. Man, haven't seen you in 1,000 years. What have you been doing?
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Hey freaks, love to all. At Grey Wes up.
No matter what he did, it sums. It sums? Oh, sucks? Is that what you meant to say? No matter what he did, it sums. I was reading Traveling Teresa. Is that what you were saying? I bet you meant sucks. Or maybe it's girl code and I don't understand that, what that means. No, they didn't sugarcoat a damn thing back then. She no longer accepts, as she did 3 months ago, that without a doubt, the tots were killed. I think it's pretty obvious. No trace of Marisha Faye, 3, and A.J. Campbell Jr., 11 months, have ever been found. The white caliche soil around Goliad, where some officers believe the children were buried, has been combed by hundreds of men. Austin officers say they have checked out 500 leads without result. It was on the north edge of Austin that Campbell was found in a car September 7th, the side of his head blasted off with a shotgun. On the premise that Campbell might have buried the children in the area before killing himself, numerous fresh graves have been investigated in fields, all checking out to be those of dogs. Man, how many dogs did they kill over there? Wait, they must have killed a whole bunch of dogs over there to have that many, Let's see. Miss Campbell, a Goliad school teacher, at first agreed with them, but she's not so sure now. On the night of September 5th, A.J. Campbell, 32 years old, construction worker, left his South Side apartment to go to Goliad, where his estranged wife was living with 2 children. He was accompanied by William Randall Jr., a black mason tender who acted as Campbell's chauffeur. En route, Campbell bought several 5-gallon cans, some of them grease cans, others lard cans. He told Randall he was going to use them for fishing. He also bought a pocket knife, so now it sounds like there's more than just 2 cans. At Goliad, Campbell picked up Marisha Faye and A.J. Jr. He told his wife, whose divorce was to be final in a month, that he would return the children that afternoon, September 6th. Mrs. Campbell never saw the children or her husband again. Several miles out of Goliad, Campbell let Randall out of the car and said that he had to go back and see a friend. When he returned, the children were no longer with him. Or so it seemed, right? I mean, it could have been, in, like we said, in the cans in the trunk or something. He appeared disheveled and had grease stains on his trousers. He said he had a tussle with his brother-in-law and that he had left the children with the brother-in-law. Really? So you had a big fight with the brother-in-law and you thought, wow, what a great place to leave the kids. Randall had no way of knowing, but Campbell had no brother-in-law in Goliad. Well, there you go. With 2 lard cans still in the trunk, Campbell and Randall, oh, so there was 2, what do you mean 2 still in the trunk? With 2 lard cans still in the trunk, Campbell and Randall went to San Antonio. There, Campbell let Randall out of the car and said he would pick him up later. He never returned. The next day, Campbell's body was found in the car on the north edge of Austin. There were no cans in the car. Oh, wow. So when he took the car away, what did he do with the other cans then? Was it just sort of a decoy type of thing? And there was 2 remaining, and Randall saw those, so he must know, now he must assume that the bodies are in those 2 cans. The next day, Campbell's body was found in the car on the north edge of Austin. There were no cans in the car, so he'd already disposed of them. The shock, and Randall was with him from north of Goliad all the way to San Antonio, and that's when he knew that there were still 2 cans in there. And it was after Campbell left San Antonio that the other 2 cans were disposed of somewhere, likely containing the bodies. The shotgun he had used to kill himself had been bought in San Antonio. There was this note: "It's all over now. I buried both children today. Maybe I was sick. I hope you and your folks all the happiness, and just remember, I still love you." Shut the hell up. What a dick. Really? I wish you happiness and I love you, but I'm going to kill your kids, making you miserable and me hating you. It was addressed to his wife. I mean, it's just such a bullshit. That's a passive-aggressive type of note there. It was addressed to his wife in a postscript. There was a contradictory statement. Marisha and Junior are all I have left on... let's see. What does it say? Just remember I still love you. It was addressed to his wife. In a postscript, there was a contradictory statement. Marisha and Junior are all I have left on this earth. Mrs. Campbell interprets this as meaning Campbell was leaving the children behind. This is one reason... I don't take it that way at all. I think he knew that it would hurt you, and he didn't want to leave, he wanted to hurt you first, and then he didn't want you to be able to have the kids and be happy, so he killed the kids and himself, making you miserable. It was all payback. It's all part of a plan, right? This is one reason she will not abandon hope the children might still be alive. Another, Miss Campbell believes that had Campbell buried the children, they would have been found by now. From the time he left the black man out of the car near Goliad, the children still being in the car, until the time he came back, when they were gone. No, they weren't in the car when he got back to Randall. Like, he wasn't, the kids weren't in the car. They couldn't see him. When they were gone, was only 30 minutes. Okay, so she does say that. Miss Campbell said the area Campbell could have covered in that time has been thoroughly searched. Right. However, they could have actually been in the 2 cans remaining, Miss Campbell. She said she had examined closely cans the size of the ones bought by Campbell. She does not believe her children, both weighed 27 pounds, could have been buried in such cans. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the shape of those cans are, but Miss Campbell also points out that her husband never showed violence. Here, let's see something. 1950s 5-gallon Dries, I don't know if I'm spelling that right, can. So they kind of look like that. Yeah, I mean, it's the same size as a 5-gallon bucket. I think you could easily put a 27-pound little kid inside something like that, unfortunately. She thinks it's possible that Campbell arranged to have the children picked up in Goliad by someone. Yeah. I mean, I know, it's just sort of a hopeful, wishful type thinking, you know. I mean, I think every mother would probably think like that. Year-long hunt for 2 bodies fails. A year ago today, father picked up his 2 children. Had to take them for a ride. Within a few hours, he apparently killed them. The father, A.J. Campbell, 32, of Fort Worth, bricklayer, was found September 6, 1958 in his car. He had shot himself in the head with a shotgun. The mother, Mrs. Jewel Campbell, 30, a Goliad, Texas school teacher, was separated from her husband. The divorce was to be final within a month. Alright, so that was a year later. Then another year after that. Missing tots feared dead. You know, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious at this point. In 1962, Marisha Faye Campbell would be 7 and 1/2 years old now and starting to 2nd grade. She would still be explaining that her name isn't Mira, but Marisha. And she'd have to spell it for the teacher. Well, hey, I've got that in common. It's Gray, not Gary, okay? Her little brother, A.J. Campbell Jr., would be 5 years old and probably would be chagrined because he couldn't go to school with Marisha. Marisha would be too big now to wear a pink Orion dress with gathers falling from the yoke, and of course A.J. Jr. would long since have outgrown a white checked diaper shirt. That's what the 2 children were wearing 4 years ago this Thursday, when their mother waved goodbye to them as they drove away with their father from their house in Goliad. They lived there with their mother. She was a school teacher, and their father was a bricklayer. They were having trouble, were separated, and a divorce was in the works. One thing the man and woman agreed on: they both loved the children, and the children loved both of them. Miss Campbell dressed Marisha and A.J. Jr. in their best clothes on this morning 4 years ago. They were going for a drive and maybe a picnic with their father. Everybody seemed happy that morning when it all started, but the events that followed shocked the nation. Even yet, everything that happened is unknown, but Marisha Faye did not start to 2nd grade this week. All that is known for sure is that Campbell parked his car on Rundberg Lane. Okay, now we actually have that. Rundberg Lane. So it should be north. Yeah, there it is. Now, so it's kind of a long... We don't know what it looked like back then, but... Lundberg, Lane, Campbell... Shoots self. All that we know for sure is that Campbell parked his car on Runberg Lane in North Austin and shot himself in the head with a new 16-gauge shotgun. The children were not in the car with him, only a pencil scrawled note that said, "I buried both children today. I loved my children too much." But the note did not say where he had buried the children nor how they died. A search that lasted for weeks began. Men hunted in jeeps, trucks, patrol cars, on horsebacks, and on foot in the sandy, brushy country around Goliad and through the hills and farmlands around Austin. No trace was found of the children, nor of a checked diaper shirt and a pink Orion dress. The little boy and little girl had vanished as if they never had been. All that is left is a memory of two happy babies going for a ride with their daddy. Yeah, that was a pretty good article there. So that was 1962, and then 2021, you know, that's the father right there, or monster. Can't really call him a father at this point. A.J. Campbell, Sr. All these links are in the description. Yeah, that's a good picture of both of them, probably right around the time. G'day, mate. G'day, mate. There we go. I said that right. That was pretty good. That was a good one there. Come on. I don't know if this is somebody's YouTube channel. There, let me try to zip through this here, see what it says. Phil Robertson is no cold case detective, but he has spent years trying to find the missing pieces to a mystery that once captured headlines throughout Texas. Father kills self, 2 tots missing, announced the Dallas Morning News on September 8, 1958. The article described a statewide search for 2 children kidnapped by their father before he took his own life. The story remained in the news for days. 100-man posse continues search for 2 missing tots until the clues ran dry. For Robertson, a Carlton business owner, it's more than just a story from the yellow pages of a newspaper. I think this is just like fluffy stuff here, but I mean, there's a colored picture of the same kids there. And these are some of the family members. I don't know if she's still alive. She might be, though. And these are what they would have looked like if they were still alive. But, I mean, that's almost no chance of that. So, I don't know. That one's pretty crazy, though, right? I mean, imagine if that story was right now. It'd be huge. But I think it's pretty interesting, so I'm going to keep digging through some of these missing person cases. I like the old ones a lot because they have a lot more information. I mean, look at the detail they put into that. I mean, you think you get any of that now? The police just guard every single bit of that. But back then, the reporters got everything. They were given the information. Yeah, she's probably still alive then. I mean, she'd be 90, almost 90 now, though, right? But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Kind of died down, and I got to get to the store, buy some of this stuff. Some Pepto-Bismol and some probiotics. Yeah. No, maybe it's not open today though, right? It's today. Yeah. Probably not. Sunday night on a holiday. Let's see. Is Albertsons Portland open today? Yeah, it does say it's still open. So go check it out. Alright, thanks to Georgina Stoliker, and then Georgina Stoliker again with a cat eye, the Velvet Army. Good to see her again. Jim Wan, Scouting Dude, Melissa South, Liam Colligan, IB Zalz, Robin, Tosh, Susie Clue, Lori Akers, Tosh, Lori Akers, Jessica Schubach, Donna D, Robin Berardo,
Chewbacca?
Lisa Holland Cat Eye, Tasha Cat Eye, Traveling Teresa, Caligal 3 a Cat Eye, Maxine Van Dyke, Danielle, Tammy Kerwood, new member, Cheryl Bullock, Adniram, Not Your Average Chick, CG, Kami, Lisa Taylor, Linda Howell, gifted a membership, thank you, Pebs W, and then shit or get off the pot right at the end there, thank you. That's an unusual name there, I must say. Yeah, let me check. I didn't check anywhere else. Hold on. Oh, and thank you to Your Gypsy on PayPal. Thank you. Oh, somebody sent me a visual reference. I already looked it up. All right, we're gonna spin for the Freak Heart mug with a sketch again. All right. Or right, we only have like one more notebook total. We have three total and 2 ordered and 1 sitting there. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the spin now for the Freak Heart mug with a sketch. Here we go. Look at that, it's Lisa Holland. Can you believe it? Alright. Lisa Holland wins the Freak Heart mug with a sketch. So, didn't you guys find those both pretty interesting? I mean, they're both like mysteries that you could try to... You know, I guess the thing that makes it difficult is the fact that, you know, he put there was more than 2 cans originally, but then there was 2 left. But what does that mean exactly? Could that be that he was trying to trick the one witness? Because why were there some missing when he came back? See, that makes it weird, right? Was it, okay, wow, so he could have put him there, or he could have put him over here. But anyways, I thought those are pretty interesting cases, both of them. You know, the first one, let's see, I gotta get to the folder, of Audrey Mae Herron from 2002, up in Catskill area of New York. What was that? That one, she leaves work, I think around... I think it was around 11:30, if I remember, 11:15, I guess, at a long-term health facility. And there was if you watch the documentary, a friend of hers, I guess, apparently was driving behind her for about 5 minutes of the trip. And then there would only be about 10 minutes left after that. And so she kept driving apparently, but her husband claims she never made it home. But the husband never helped search for her, nor was he willing to take a polygraph test and a whole bunch of other things. And he came up with weird reasons why he didn't want to help. Then in the Marisha Faye Campbell case, and AJ Campbell Jr., that case, let me see, Mr. Campbell went from Austin, but he got a ride with an individual named Randall, who was 21 years old. It was his car. He had him drive him all the way down to Goliad, Texas, where he had arranged to pick up his 2 children, Marisha and AJ Jr., and the father's name was AJ Campbell, Sr., obviously. And he picked up the 2 kids. It was arranged. They were going through a divorce that would be final in a month. And he had weekend visitations, so this was arranged. He picked up the children, and Randall was still in the car. He drove a couple miles north of Gilead, told him to get out, Randall to get out of the car because he had to go back and talk to somebody. And then when he came back, some of the cans that he had purchased, that I neglected to mention that when he was in Austin on the way down in Waco, so on the drive down to Goliad in Waco, he stopped and picked up a pocket knife and some 5-gallon oil drums and some other 5-gallon containers. And then he drove down, picked up the kids. Then he drove 2 miles north with the kids and Randall, the car owner, in the vehicle, and told Randall to get out alone because he had to go back and talk to somebody. Then when AJ shows back up to pick up Randall again, he's without the kids and some of the cans, only having 2 cans left in the car. And there's no sign of the kids. He said he left the kids with his stepbrother or brother-in-law that he got in a fight with. And then after that, he picked up Randall, and they drove to San Antonio, where he had Randall get out of the vehicle so that he could go visit some girls, he said. And he was going to pick up Randall later, but he never picked up Randall again, and Randall said that there was only 2 containers in the car at that point. And then apparently in San Antonio, AJ also bought a shotgun. Then from there, he drove into Austin onto, what was it? It was a lane up here. Lugberg Lane, and pulled over. He'd written a note saying how he loved the kids and he loved her. And he had called a priest and told him that just before that he had killed the kids and put them in a happy place. And then he shot himself in the head. I mean, it's a crazy story, but apparently it actually happened. All right, you guys, that was the breakdown of those 2. I'm sure it's a little bit more in-depth if you go back and listen, but all the links are in the... It's not really that convoluted, Gene. It's pretty linear. It makes sense. He goes to Austin, to Waco, to Gilead. Has the guy get out. Probably kills, because he needs time to be able to kill the kids without being witnessed. And I don't know why he took out the other drums out of the car. We don't know where the kids are, but that could have been a head fake of some sort. And it seems like he kind of planned it all out, really. And that's why they haven't been found. So while it seems convoluted in some ways, it's not really. Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. I appreciate the support and hanging out on Easter. Hope it was good for everybody. We'll see you guys in the morning. Hopefully, if my stomach, I'll try to get up at the right time to get that started. But the trial for Letitia Stout again. But I'm not gonna. I don't. Babysitting it all day is hard for me. It really just. It gets kind of too much stress for the whole day then, and then the next day. And the next show, you know, it's like 11 hours of monitoring a computer is, a little much. So, anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Uh-oh. It quit playing, but it'll pop in here in a second. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal a true offender. Yeah, so
good night, everybody.
All right, everybody. Talk to you. Good night, everybody. Gonna go to the